Okay, we're on to Game 3, Match 1 of the second league, the one where I'm trying Abrupt Decay main deck. We won Game 1, lost Game 2. We're playing essentially what looks like a modified Delver deck using Hooting Mandrels, Gurmag Angler, and Thought Scour to turbo them out. We are on the play this time. And we see a pretty solid 7 cards here, so we're going to keep. And unfortunately our opponent keeps 7 as well. It'll be nice to have him mull. We will lead with the fetch, and we're going to grab a basic island here so we can ponder. And we see Infernal Tutor, Cabal Ritual, and Abrupt Decay. Now, unfortunately, I was an idiot at the end of Game 2 and forgot to, or didn't think to change my Abrupt Decays out for Echoing Truths, and didn't think to bring Ad Nauseam back in. So we're stuck with these really clunky Abrupt Decays that are basically worthless against their creatures, and we haven't really seen any Hateful Permanents. Anyway, we're going to probably draw the Ritual this turn and the Tutor next turn. We still know they play black. I haven't seen them play any discard spells, but I think we're better off being safe than sorry. And he's going to play a land and pass the turn. And we'll draw our Tutor. And we play out Lotus Petal here. I'm pretty sure it's so that we can Abrupt Decay Hateful Permanents. I don't know why I bothered. That was a bit dumb, I think. And he'll fetch. And Thought Scour himself. And fetch again and play a big dumb monkey. Putting us on a 5-turn clock and playing out his Spell Bomb. And we draw Abrupt Decay number 2. We already knew that was there. Now, if it wasn't for the Spell Bomb, we could just about go for it here. But obviously with the Spell Bomb there, we're going to have to ship the turn. And he plays out a Nimble Mongoose, which also seems a bit loose with your hinging really heavily on delve creatures. Okay, and I draw a Ponder for turn, which is great. It's exactly what we want to be seeing here. The only card that might be better might be a Brainstorm. And we see Therapy and 2 fetch lands. And I think we want 2 of the 3 of these cards, which is fine because we can pass the turn. We still have another... Fetching won't change the clock, so we actually have another 3 turns. And we can actually go off next turn potentially. Okay, and he's being very aggressive with his Spell Bomb. So now unless he draws another one, we can definitely go off next turn. Okay, and you'll see one of the things happening here that makes me kind of dislike this deck. He's being really aggressive with his cantrips, and he's doing it basically just to build up Threshold, or just to build cards in the graveyard, for both Threshold for the Goose and for delving with Hooting Mandrills. And it just seems a bit silly. Alright, so we're going to draw our Therapy. And grab a Swamp so we can't get Wastelanded off black. And we see Invasive Surgery, another card I'm not really a fan of. It always just seems like in 90% of situations, you'd be better off just having, maybe 95% of situations, you just plain be better off with Flusterstorm. I think it's just a better card. Obviously, in fringe cases like this, he gets us. So he's going to take the Therapy and take all the rest of them because he's managed to hit his Delirium. But we're not too worried at the moment because we very likely have the ability to go off again next turn. So he's going to Thought Scour again. Beat in for 7. He still hasn't managed to speed up the clock by getting his Threshold, you'll notice. Brainstorms again. Wastelanders. This is actually good for us. It helps us build Threshold. And LED is perfect. We now have absolutely the mana to go off through Force of Will here. So if you notice, we're going to have 6, 9 mana, 7 after we Infernal Tutor. So 3, 6, 9, 10 mana. Sorry, 8 after we Infernal Tutor, which leaves us with 3 if we need to flashback past In Flames, which we can then Cabal Ritual to bring us back up to 6, and then Tutor again and grab Tendrils, and that's going to be more than enough Storm, and it's enough mana. So obviously if he has another Invasive Surgery, obviously that would suck for us too. And we think about it for a second, because I've got to redo my math. But it works out. I just had to check for Threshold for Cabal Ritual, because having enough mana hinges really heavily on that. We're now going to Infernal Tutor, and we're going to pop our LEDs. And our opponent forces. We're actually fine with this, as I said. We now have 8 mana, so you see we've got 7 in pool, and we've got a Pedal up. So that's not a problem. And we flash back past In Flames. And our opponent has the second force, so that's it. Unfortunately, Invasive Surgery double force, we just can't beat. At least without having hit a Duress or something somewhere along the line, if one of the decays was a Duress. So I still don't like the deck that my opponent's playing. Maybe I'm just a bit salty about it, but I think it's just I think cutting good interaction from a Delver deck to replace it with Thought Scour to try and turbo out creatures is just a weaker strategy than a standard Delver mana denial strategy. And I think it's just playing some very strange conflicting cards. But anyway, my opponent got there. Good for him. That's game 3, match 1, and that's a loss for us, which is a good start to the league.